I'm with you on my journey as well, in that thinking, and you touch on this quite early in the chapter, that uh, the problems can always be traced to humanity. And that's an external state scapegoat as well of, okay, whether it's the Illuminati or it's the government or it's A, B, C, and D, there is a domino effect and you say it's humans all the way down, of trying to pinpoint who is absolutely responsible. And I think that that becomes very difficult to do because I don't think it's as orchestrated as that. I think the foundation of whatever causes people to act in a negative or evil way, one, you touch on this, as essentially the main point, I think, is that it's ignorance. And you point out as well, and this is kind of where I want to ask you, Christ on the cross said, "Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do." And you point that out eloquently and honestly, is that it's ignorance, for they know not what they do. Well, it's because they're ignorant of what they should be doing. There's a gap of knowledge, a gap of wisdom, missing there. And so can you lay that blame on the individual and say, well, you haven't achieved a certain level of knowledge that would have dispelled that ignorance, and that is at your feet? Or is there something else that is causing that, which provides a space for people to act chaotically, irrationally, and erratically?
Yeah. Yeah. The ignorance point is the main thrust of the chapter. And I have some addendums to that that I'd just like to tweak and sort of uh, modify it a little bit. But we'll get to those later because I do think that, I mean, this is still true. And I think the point about, Christ on the cross didn't say, Father, forgive them. The devil made them do it. He said, forgive them. They know not what they do. They're ignorant to their actions, the source of their actions, the end of their actions. Um, and God was working through people's ignorance there and using people's ignorance to accomplish something. He even used the ignorant, according to Christian tradition, he even used the ignorance of the demons and the devil in that plan. So the idea of ignorance is really central and really unavoidable. And I think that it fits in with this idea that we've gone throughout the book of realizing the reality of infinity, because that mean like if life is infinite, we are finite, we have finite minds. That means we are always infinitely ignorant. What it also means is that we were created ignorant. And if we've followed so far and we have accepted purpose and form, then we were purposefully created ignorant. We were not created to be all-knowing beings. We were created to be ignorant beings, not hopelessly ignorant, not forever bereft of what we're supposed to have, but we're supposed to be limited and we're supposed to be on a journey towards more. And in order to have more, you need to be lacking something. So, so I think ignorance is an important point, and it brings it home to everybody because everybody's ignorant, and we're all doing things at times that are not in our best interest or not in others' best interest, and is partly due to the fact that we're just ignorant. So this is, we might say, it's not the ultimate source of evil. I called it that in the chapter, and that's something that I got wrong. But it's our ultimate vulnerability to evil. It's our openness to evil because we are blind to certain things. Um, and so we have the ability to be directed in that way or used in that way or tricked in that way, whatever it is. And then on top of that, So that sounds like, oh, well, we're all ignorant, and so that's the problem. Well, that's still not it, because that's not the problem. Because as I just said, we were created purposefully, intentionally, with a good purpose as ignorant beings. Ignorance is not a flaw in our creation. That's something I say in the chapter. Ignorance is not a mishap. It's not a uh, unintended consequence. It's part of who we're supposed to be. And I think that is the main thing in this chapter that is important, is that flips the idea from like we're these lost, hopeless, um, ignorant beings at the mercies of the infinite and demons, and we can't help it, and we're just left alone to suffer the fate of our own ignorance and its compounding effects. No, God knew we're ignorant, knows we're ignorant, and he created us that way. He has good purpose for us, even though we're ignorant. So our ignorance is not this aberration fundamentally. So there's a lot, it's ironic because it's like, oh, we're ignorant. That I mean, people take the word ignorant as like an insult. Like, oh, like us bad little creatures, we're ignorant. No, no, we're that's just part of us being creatures. Like we're just not infinite, and we're in the midst of an infinite world. So it's really, even though it's calling us ignorance, it's a hopeful view. It's like this is known, this is intended, this is accounted for. Um, but it is the part of the door that's open to problems. And to some degree, we have a responsibility, but we're not fundamentally responsible for our net, like fundamental ignorance. We will always be ignorant. We always have a part of us that is uh incomplete, vulnerable in that way. And that's not bad in itself. So we don't bear complete responsibility for our ignorance, nor do we bear complete responsibility for evil and the evil that comes in through our ignorance. But we do have responsibility a couple steps down the road where it's like, okay, now I'm at a place where I have to interact with my ignorance and my knowledge and the call to goodness or the call to wisdom versus the call to evil. And that's where my being and my responsibility starts to come into the picture. So um, the ignorance point is it is significant and it's foundational to our being, but it's not this sweeping dismissal and uh, pessimistic verdict on humanity. Like, oh, we're ignorant. No, like, yeah, that's just reality.